hopefully I've gathered enough pictures to do what I wanted to do, and this is the last one I was looking at. I thought, yeah, that'll do, that should be enough. So we're looking at the sinister snake man from Egypt. And I say snake man because that's what people call it. And yeah, because it has legs, I guess. So we're going to look at some more comparisons through culture. We're going to examine some of these connections to the DMT realms that people throughout time, right up to current, are seeing. Commonalities. So eventually, I guess, yeah, it becomes an artistic form of language once it gets a structure. That's what we are looking at, certain structures or bridges as well to these realities, like just flashing through things now. We've been looking at the Goetia. That could have been one I should have plucked out. But yeah, we're looking at the Goetia layout in the last few videos, so check that out if you're watching. So we're gonna cross probably imagination to the bounds of a structure that can be somewhat interpreted even by the intellect. Bigger miracles have happened. So what we're going to look at is the double nature of a human being, and where the double comes into sorcery and its ancient uses. As we see here, so here we see like Sumerian, I'm pretty sure, two of the ancients, and once again we've been looking at through other vids focusing on the theme of two opposing sides, which you also have in this one, which is another common piece of artwork that they did. I'll see if I can zoom out here, so you can get a better picture of what I'm talking about, two different sides. So in the middle you see, we'll analyze that as, our species. These obviously probably, humanoid or have human genetics, but different species. So we're going to see ancient magic, why they said, like, the Nephilim was said to, which doesn't necessarily mean giant. I think at its core it means any sort of fallen being, just to make that correction, because that's what I'm kind of doing here, is getting some modern perspective, because a lot of this shit, including the sorceries, quite old now, and it comes back around in cycles, and yeah, needs to be reanalyzed. And this is like, museum stuff, so we got to include it. So we're going into the double, which means we'll have to examine the energy body. So to those who are wielding it, so I'll try and break it down as simple as possible. Like, I should really do a bit of left eye kind of stuff. So here we see in the ancients how I explained, like, there's a split here, and on the other one you can see it's like a witch's face popping out at the back of his head here, and then you see the split there. So it's something the ancients used, a certain group of them on one side of this divided scene. We're going to go into that thing too, one perspective. We see them using something, and so what I've put down is it's something they did to themselves genetically to let a form of what we would call or use as AI, in their own genetic codes, but it split or compartmentalizes the individual, so it's more of a subconscious process, I guess, and impulses and guide and information feed. And the thing is, they would have had the bridge to connect it, but it's something we are missing in our mental functions, like we're separated from our subconscious even. So we're not witnessing an entire reality to start with, and that's where I guess plants come into it, if you will. Sorry, excuse me. I guess 6 minutes of talking will develop like that until throat clear. So yeah, zero editing, by the way, just going at it. So and then, like, for example, we see the same with this deity. I'll just zoom out. So this deity on the viewer's right, how I explained the split position. It's the same with the smaller creature on the run from the larger. As you can see, he's got, like, some of these animals seem to be hindering him and stumbling blocks, but he's got certain advantages. Now we're going to look at animal connections, why this would be coming from, and like launching like nearly a predatory attack. It's got defenses, but from this side, attack from this side. Yeah, it's an age-old story. You might know what it's really getting at, but in deeper terms. So moving over to another culture, we have to get this double thing out of the way, or at least give some preliminaries, because it's going to pop up. So once again, we have the bigger, more giant, ancient, larger, and some of the human beings around it are single form, but we see the ones pulling the sled or whatever it's on, with the ropes here. Also have that double theme. So no double theme with the medium and large, and then over here in the separate scene, doing the hard yakka is like the split beings. And I guess in that term, compartmentalizing is used in a different way. Compartmentalizing, sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once and looking around. Anyway, yeah, alright, engage the mind once again. Back to Snake Man. So what we're doing is trying to find a reason and structures behind these abstractions, or whatever you want to call them. So what it's doing, it's giving a human attribute to it, So we're going to look at, like, that's with the Goetia and connecting with these beings through your own genetics as well, finding connections, and through in the rituals of connecting, to these things that live in other realities. We're going to try and pinpoint their world, or we'll map it a bit, because a lot of them probably do come from one or two sources that we can pinpoint, certain types of them anyway. But see, that's the thing with getting connections, or sometimes it's unavoidable because they're just there in certain boundaries. See what we can find. Probably getting sick of looking at that, I am. So I guess we'll use this. Might as well, it's as good as any. We're looking at similar place. So human attributes to animals. We'll see a lot of mixed beings, as I said in the artwork that I showed you, or the drawings. That I did in the last videos. Check them out, otherwise this probably won't even make sense. How they're sequenced and they're joined together. So we see like bound together beings here, and balls, DNA kind of looks like that. So something they're looking at, even if it's not human DNA, it's like a DNA of an inorganic world, and we see it here reaching the physical, material, organic world. But we're going to look at these things as they are in their world, and why there's a separation, and they not necessarily should be brought here. And we're just going to, I guess, pitfalls of those, because it's not always discussed. And these tools, like these plants, power plants we'll call them, that contain substances like DMT, they were a tool of the ancients, and we might not be using them as ideally as the ancients would have, and facing the discrepancies that maybe they worked out over thousands of years, and we could be, trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. So it has a bit of reasoning behind all this nonsense. So we get the upright walking, don't have a pointer, but so once again, upright walking, animal, human attribute once again. So why this connection? And we see viruses also connecting, say animal viruses where they shouldn't be. See, they need, even like genetic crossovers, they need assistance most times, especially if it's happening frequently. And with the one leg up on each side, like there's the human deity, and a leg up on the middle combination of genetic alchemy or whatever, I don't know what to call it, but with the leg up, it's always some spiral or helix kind of situation. So it's what you're grounding, standing on, really. So it's something they're saying is very close to them. You can see that with the human attribute. There's a mixture, and we're going to examine that. Like I said, in the other worlds, we'll cross once again into another culture. We'll find another mixture like even in the glyphs, you see like a mixture of animals. Probably can't see that. I don't know. Yeah, that's okay. It's probably too dark. Too dark. Anyway, see, there's some weird. And we're going to look at time, like how like some of these animals seem prehistoric, have prehistoric attributes in the glyphs. So there's a lot to get through with these. You know, we're trying to explain a separate reality to our own here and nail it down a bit. I mean, in other words, it's like, so looking at commonalities, like this is like America's desert. So obviously Indian of some tribe, and they were like the combinations of beings. Let's see if we can find another combo being. Like, yeah, we see mutations happening, like animals sprouting extra either limbs or yeah, it's a shame these don't come up clear. Animals on the heads, yeah, like weird animal combinations. So that's pretty much what we're looking at. And like even like Baphomet, like this thing looks like, I don't know if you can see it, the contrast is like it's got horns, and it's doing weird hand signs. Like, I guess some of the glyphs you can see like languages and stuff spawn out of it, and I guess when it's closer to human form, or I guess you can use an artistic language like this. So that's pretty, without looking at the language, like written language, like it seems to be a secondary thing, like the written and like the abstractions say much more to me. So I'll try and get a few things out of the way. How many times so? But yeah, where were we going with that? The doubles and the ancients. So I just got a mess of pictures. Yeah, alright, so this has gone for nearly 20 minutes, so I'll see you in the next one, but don't be late. So yeah, just take note of that, the double feature, and especially in the Egyptian. See. Yeah. Alright, noted.